Hey, what's up, you guys? So this is Petty Talks with Deja. So I just want to review the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 17, episode 5 episode. This is actually a really good episode. Through the whole episode, I was laughing, and especially at the end. But there are some girls that I want to talk about because next season I don't want to see them. Period, point, stop, the end. So the show first starts off and you can tell that something's different, and they have just like this Dallas intro editing. It had like a Dallas kind of like Dynasty, old money Texas kind of situation, just like the show. And I really loved it. I loved how they were just kind of like playing into that based off of what Cynthia wanted the trip to be. I never watched Dallas. I'm actually from Dallas, Texas. But it's something I've always wanted to watch, just like those old telenovelas. It's just very hard to find them from start to finish, and not have to pay crazy amounts of money for season one, all the way to the end. But anyway, so the reason why Cynthia is trying to get into or is into the tequila business or the alcohol business is because of Adrian Malouf. And if you don't know, Adrian was on the very first, second, and I want to say third season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She eventually left Beverly Hills. Her and her husband Paul Nassif, who was a what do you call that? Like the doctors that put the stuff in your face and like the filler and all that kind of stuff. So he was that kind of doctor. They divorced. And after that, Adrian, she started getting a lot of her face and like she just looks completely different. But she's back. She looks like a bicycle seat, just like Kelly. And, she is old money. She got money long. She has like a basketball team, a whole lot of stuff. But for Cynthia to get into business with Adrian, I really hope that this is the last business that Cynthia has to do, because he played on her credit 72 years ago and she's still paying it for it to this day. I don't know how much that man took from her. He took from her in divorce. He took it from her while they were married. But I really hope that this is the last job that Cynthia got to take, because when I tell you, Cynthia, she works like a broke back slave when I tell you. But anyways, so Phaedra, she was also there, and Phaedra, she was actually saying a few words. I figured out what it is. Phaedra is almost like that word tree with I want to say Martin Lawrence, where he can only say a few words. But I think the difference with Phaedra is that Bravo only paid for a few words. They probably didn't read the full contract that she gave them to sign, but it says I only say 500 words an episode, and terms and conditions may apply because it's only given about like 15 words an episode. But, I just don't understand, like, Phaedra, she was actually given something this scene, but the rest of the episode she was not. But Adrian, she said, oh, you might want to try the black cherry tequila. And Phaedra, she said, oh yeah, that black cherry tequila sounds like my vagina. When you do say something that's something disgusting and vulgar, girl, I don't want to hear about your goddamn vagina. Like, girl. Anyways, so all of the women, they get to the PJ, where they're going to be taking off and going to Dallas from Atlanta to Dallas. And Phaedra and Portia, they were doing the Dallas thing. Like, they looked like Dallas. It was really cute. I liked it. Shamia didn't know what was happening, and Angela was very confused. Like, Shamia didn't know what Dallas was, so she kind of like looked up DeVoe, and then Angela, she was just like, oh, so that's why Portia was just like that. Honestly, I don't know if Angela was really confused or she was just like, girl, I'm not wearing that because I don't fucking want to. You never know with Angela. I like Angela, but Pinky, everybody looked nice. You can tell that what's her name? Kelly, she wore all the turquoise that she could muster up with her broke ass. But, in Texas, like, we wear, like, a lot of the turquoise. So you'll see it on, like, white women and stuff like that. I think it comes from, like, the indigenous tribes. But, like, a lot of, like, turquoise and, like, kind of like, emerald. I mean, not emeralds, but, like, a lot of turquoise rocks and stuff like that. And K. Michelle, she just had on, like, a white outfit, K. Michelle is kind of just there. Love my girl down, but, baby, I need you to clock in. And Pinky Cole, she had on, like, this green pantsuit, like a business suit, like she was going to some damn woman's conference. I'm like, girl, what the hell are you wearing? Like, Pinky, you already a bald-headed girl. Like, you need to, if your hair ain't gonna be given to your outfit, got to be tens, top tens. Pinky, she's just not giving to me. So anyways, they get on to the PJ. And when I tell you that they always got to say a prayer, with everything that's been happening with the airlines, I don't, I understand it. There's been a lot happening, so we need to make sure that we good. But when I tell you that Pinky prayed for 47 days and 83 nights, and she just prayed and prayed and prayed. She prayed for so long, I'm sure that they sat on that tarmac for 3 more hours. They would have been able to make it back in Dallas. But anyways, girl, pray all you want, because I definitely understand, cover everybody in the blood of Jesus, because the way that these planes have been crashing, and literally just one crash into a damn bakery truck. So I get it. But anyway, so the next thing was them actually being on there. Angela, she basically says that she dismantled her portfolio. She lost the $2 million, but she had to file for bankruptcy or something. But not Phaedra, Angela is actually saying that I'm out of that situation. Like, I lost that money. It is what it is. I ain't got to pay nobody. And honestly, that's probably the best way. Like, she did lose a shit ton of money, but to be out of it completely is what you want to be. You don't want to be owing nobody. You don't lose $2 million like Pinky and still be owing somebody $20 million. Like, Pinky tried to relate, but she also just was kind of sounding like broke adjacent, because like they men both got money, and I'm sure that Angela, she has less money than Pinky maybe, or that Pinky says, but like Angela's in the clear. The difference with Pinky is that Pinky, both y'all men got money, but you still going through your situation. Like, you still going through this bankruptcy and all this stuff. Like, she was also saying, like, Pinky was also saying, like, I don't make money on paper, so it's making it difficult for me to file Chapter 11. That sound like some fried stuff, girl. That sound like some fried. Like, and then they start talking about bankruptcy and everything. Shamia, she's just like, this is stressing me out. The only thing I got to worry about now is Chick-fil-A and going through that Chick-fil-A drive-through. So y'all sitting over here talking about this bankruptcy is making me rethink my whole situation with this rum. And I'm like, I want to thump her on her damn head. Exactly. That's what your husband meant. The businessman that you married to. The businessman that you married to that has made all this money to the where that you can live in a place where it ain't even no address. You just call it a manor. I'm at Charleston Manor. That's Shamia. Where you live, girl? Charleston Manor. You ain't got to put no address on no paper. And you sitting over there not even listening to this man and you getting frustrated about that. I understand that this is her way of escape. I definitely would get that. But it don't seem like she's ready to leave or whatever from what we're able to see. It seems like, it's their money. He's making the money. It's their money. But he just want to be a housewife, which, I mean, she wants to, because Shamia looks like she doesn't want to sit down. So I get why if she wants to get her own or whatever, but he doesn't seem like somebody that you need to just be trying to like pack your bags immediately and run away, because we don't even see nothing from him. He don't look like a messy man. He look like a man that like to do his business, take a bath, eat some dinner, and then go pass out in front of the damn TV. You know what I mean? With a glass of milk. Not even a glass of alcohol, a glass of milk. So I'm just saying, like, Shamia, there was no reason for you to get into business with this, especially with a company that was not established. If you was doing some shit with Adrian Malouf, absolutely. But you're doing some business with these people in Grenada that, like, you don't even know everything about them. Like, I'm not saying that these people in Grenada are less reputable than Adrian Malouf, because we don't know what Adrian Malouf business books look like. But I'm just saying, like, if your husband already vetted them and he was just like, no, I don't think this is a good idea, maybe listen to him. Anyways. But they get to the other side, and K. Michelle, she's saying, like, her and her husband, they don't have a prenup. And I'm like, yeah, y'all don't have a prenup because you were twisting his arm and you were pulling him down that damn aisle, at the court to go and get married so quick. This man looks stressed out. And of course, y'all didn't have no time to go stop at the damn attorney's office and do a prenup. Y'all didn't have time to do that. Y'all just had to get down to that courthouse and get married because that's what you wanted from this man. So I'm like, yeah. And then she was talking about some like, all men don't cheat. I mean, all men do cheat. And I'm like, no, only men that disrespect their wives or their girlfriend or whoever they're dating in that relationship, they're the ones that cheat. Does everybody in the world have it in them? Well, I won't say everybody, but does all the adults in the world have it in them to like cheat on their significant others? Yes, but there are people that genuinely do have respect for people, and if you find somebody that is respectful, then you shouldn't have to worry about that. If y'all relationship is good and everything like that, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about. But I just feel like Kate Michelle, she was also saying like her husband wasn't on social media and stuff like that. I don't think social media is what's making them cheat. I think them having no respect for you is what's making them cheat. The fact that you have to like twist his arm into getting married and do all this other stuff, that is a situation where somebody ends up cheating on somebody, But anyway, so they get off of the PJ and then they go onto a Sprinter. And then, what's her name? Angela. I feel like she was just trying to be a good friend and trying to give Drew some camera time, because we saw Drew. Well, we barely saw Drew, but because I don't even know you mentioned, you don't even realize I didn't even mention her in the early thing because I didn't even see her ass when they were trying to get onto the PJ. But Angela, she was just like, "Hey, Drew, what happened with you and Black on the date? What happened with you and Black?" And Drew, she cheesed, and the girls are kind of like gassing her up. I'm like, girl, nobody giving no shit about this damn fake ass storyline. Girl, who cares? And then Drew gonna talk about some, yeah, maybe there might be a wedding in the future. That there you might see a little wedding. Girl, we ain't gonna see no goddamn wedding because this man ain't even really your man. Like, honestly, they might have slept with each other, but it ain't giving no wedding situation. Like, I don't think that he was like a rent-a man or anything. I think that him and Drew actually were in a situation, but I think that it's being prolonged so much at this point where it's not even a real relationship. Drew, she's just pushing it. It just feels very forced, very a lot. I don't like it. And then she kind of looks over at K. Michelle. She's like, K. Michelle, well, you know him. K. Michelle, I don't know that man. K. Michelle, I don't think that you know that man either. I believe you. I believe K. Michelle does not know that man. You know, they show a clip where K. Michelle was going to when they were at Portia's house in the first episode, and she was like, oh, hi, how are you? Girl, do you know how many people that people know, especially being in Atlanta, if somebody is a quote unquote music producer and has had a couple of good hits and, like, you know, is kind of known around those circles, then of course he's probably gonna meet K. Michelle, because K. Michelle wasn't always K. Michelle. K. Michelle was just this girl in Atlanta trying to make her music goals, you know, happen. So maybe she did meet Black, but that don't mean that she knows Black. You know, Drew is always trying to make it seem like she's bigger than the program, and I don't like that about Drew. Like, girl, you ain't bigger than the program. K. Michelle don't know that whack ass man, and if he really was somebody, then he would have showed his black ass up at that motherfucking thing, and instead of being in the phone with a damn Ring camera around him. You know, that's not your man. I don't know what's going on. He didn't want to claim you, girl. He talking about some y'all friends. Y'all got a friend. Y'all developing a friendship. Maybe friends with benefits. Excuse me? You talking about wedding. This man talking about friends with benefits. Next. I'm so sick of Drew. Get Drew off my goddamn screen. But then they go to, I don't know why I'm mad. Why am I mad? Calm down, girl. But anyways, they go to a truck stop, because when I tell you it took 47 days and 87 nights for them to get to that goddamn place, they needed a bathroom break and a food break. But anyway, so Shamia, she's like, yeah, my family, like, we had, my mom and my dad, we had like a lot of trucks and stuff growing up. So yeah, I know how to pee. When you go to a truck stop, you don't sit on them nasty ass toilets. You don't do no squatting or nothing. You just pee into a cup and then you pour it in there. When I tell you that makes so much sense, obviously for everybody, it's not a reality, you know, especially for disabled people or people who really just can't do that. But it is something very smart. There have been times where I'm, you know, trying to like squat over and then it's like pee get everywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna hold a cup up there, I'm gonna pee, and then I'm gonna pour it down, you know, unless you really, really gotta pee. Because sometimes that it be coming out, especially when you had to pee for a very long time and you just got so much pee in the tank. That ain't the good situation. But maybe you get a big gulp, you know what I mean? You put that down there. But I don't know, I just like that from Shamia. You know, like, Shamia has so much going on. I hope that in her third season she finally finds a balance and stop doing this like fake Shamia thing. Her being corny isn't the problem, her being fake is the problem. But anyways, next, so then they eventually finally get to this house. It is a huge, beautiful, beautiful house. It's like 25 acres, you know, multiple houses on the property. They have the main house, they have a tiny house, they have a pool house. K. Michelle is saying that she gets the tiny house or the pool house, if she gets the pool house, that she will leave and she will find the nearest hotel. I'm like, good luck with that. You know, good luck with booking that stage you speak of. Because, girl, y'all in the sticks. Y'all further than the sticks. You know, like, this is a 25-acre property. Girl, you gonna drive for 5 miles and still be on the damn property. Like, that's just not gonna work, K. Michelle. So, where you gonna be? You know, you might as well get on a plane and go right back to Atlanta if you want to do that. But anyways, they did, like, a Nene flashback when Cynthia was talking about her like issues with like trips and stuff like that and like booking places for them to stay, and Nene was in there, and I was like, wow, you know, like, out of all the ones that they could have chose from, because they could have chose from a lot. So I was just like, I wonder if this is like their way of saying like Nene could be back. You know, they've been kind of teasing it and bringing her back in a little bit. But anyway, so they go around, they're showing everything. Drew is sure that she gonna get that damn pool house that nobody wants. But they sit down. Pinky gets the tiny house. In her confessional, she was okay with it. And I think that's because she argued with Angela later in the episode. But in her real life, she was just like, okay, girl, okay, whatever. But I was like, that's interesting. But then so Cynthia, she is saying that, I'm so sick of these girls arguing about where they're going to be staying and nobody want to stay here and nobody want to stay there. So I'm just going to tell you. So she tell Pinky where she's going to be staying in a tiny house. The tiny house is actually pretty cool. It's got its own everything. So I would have definitely agreed to that. And then Kelly and Shamia, they get the pool house after Cynthia does a lot of hemming and hawing of like, I think, kinda, maybe. They eventually, she spits it out. Somebody had to hit on the back of her goddamn neck. And she's like, yeah, you guys are going to be over there because y'all are inseparable and y'all really want to be over there. And Bravo, I don't think that they were being shady, but they were just kind of like, it could have been frick or frack, freaking fraud. It could have been either one of Portia Shamia, not Portia Shamia, that ain't freaking frack. It could have been Portia or Phaedra. It could have been Kelly or Shamia, or it could have been Drew or Angela, but it was Shamia and Kelly that got the room or got the house. There's room drama every trip, but that pool house was actually dirty. It wasn't like completely like just dirty. I will say, but there was some stains. I've slept in a hotel because I'm a cheap bitch. So I slept in a hotel a couple times where like the pillows was dirty. You flip the pillow around or you use a different pillow. Unless there's like bugs or stuff in the bed, unless there's something like that, girl, if you tie, you tie. They were saying that the tub, the sink was, the sink and the sink, the bed sheet, the bed covers, and then the shower was dirty. And it was just another thing, girls, a shower, use that bitch to clean it up. Like, I definitely understand what they were saying because I don't think that they were overacting, but I just think, just from the viewer standpoint, girl, it ain't that big of a deal. When I tell you, they had such a damn attitude, and the pool crew, they definitely got the short end of that stick. But anyway, so K Michelle, we get to like the whole dinner scene and Pinky is updating Portia and she's like, yeah, Shamia and Shamia and Kelly, good Lord, they are not going to be coming over to dinner because they haven't even taken baths. Like, it's so dirty over there, they don't even want to do nothing. They don't even want to touch nothing. If they got to shit, they probably just shit outside because that's probably cleaner. So Portia's like, well, did they tell Cynthia? Honestly, as soon as they saw that there was some dirt around there that they wanted something clean, they should immediately got on the phone with Cynthia. They should immediately found her. Pinky, she was saying she was trying to get her, but she didn't know where she was. But why aren't y'all trying to call this woman? They did eventually call her, but I just feel like it should have probably been done before. But I will also say, Cynthia said it's 7:30 now. Dinner is at 8. They probably were late. So it does seem like they did call her eventually, like, pretty close to time. But I just, like, as soon as you saw it, just call the girl, And K Michelle, she was skipping because she had like no glam. I'm like, girl. And then when you see K Michelle when she goes to the pool eventually, I'm like, girl, if you had to just put on some nice clothes, nobody would even notice. Like, I don't know. K Michelle, she's flopping down. You flopping down. And I don't like one season wonders, especially not my girl K, but I'm just like, girl, maybe music is just your talent. At this point, I don't think that you are good at reality TV like that. Real Housewives, not Real Housewives, but Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, and wherever else you were, I think it was California, it's just not giving no more. Like, you just not giving. But anyway, so Cynthia, she's doing a really good job of hosting. They had an issue with the room. Cynthia was like, you know what? I already called, thank you for letting me know. I apologize so much. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that y'all get this straightened out and that the room gets cleaned up. So I was like, that's really good. Pinky is going to be giving up her room and she's going to be moving in with like Cynthia or K Michelle. And Cynthia, she did something really nice. Like, when they were bringing out the food, she was like, hey, these two plates aren't necessary, but for food, can y'all just, whenever y'all get a chance, please just box this up and I'm gonna take this over there to the girls so that they have a chance to eat. And I was like, that was just like Cynthia's thinking of things, just being just like a nice person. And Cynthia, she's gone through like a lot of different changes on the show. Like she had to become harder and meaner and like quicker on her feet and everything. But Cynthia really is a sweetheart, and I just really love that about her. But anyway, so Kelly, Shamia, they are sitting at the pool. K. Michelle comes to join them in her like bathrobe and house gown. And Kelly starts crying because she's like, look, my ex-husband, he taking me through there. This nigga don't even want custody of the kids. He don't even want to see his daughters. But when I tell you that he is having people up at Peachtree Boulevard at the Atlanta courthouse with signs with our kids' faces on it, protesting me. She didn't say all that, but it was just so disgusting. And that he also doesn't want the kids to be shown on the show. And it's just like so disgusting and like disheartening. And I hate that for her because one of her children are out of school. Are out of the house in college or whatever. I think she might only be 16 still though. But I think 3 of the kids, it's like either 3 or 4 of the kids, they're still at home. So that's like, he's just trying to make stuff hard for her. And this is a side note, but if somebody is ever pressuring you, like family or whatever, like, oh yeah, just get married, just have a baby, don't do that. These niggas is crazy. And when I tell you, like people always are trying to like push people into like having kids and stuff like that, and like, oh, you should blah blah blah, you should do this. No, you shouldn't. No, your life is your own. If you don't want to do that, then don't do that. End of rant. But I just hate when people do that, I hate that Kelly is going through that. I don't think that that's her fault, but I do see a lot of people like the amount of women in America having kids is going down, and people are just saying like, oh no, that's not okay. Like we need to start having, no, we don't. Like there's more women in their 40s than teenagers having babies, and they're saying there's something wrong with that. No, more women in their 30s and 40s do need to be having babies instead of like 20 and teenage girls. Anyway, so good Lord, when I tell you at this dinner, get ready. So Pinky, she was basically like going in, like, I don't know if Pinky was necessarily going in or she just is one of those people that talks hard, so when she's talking to Angela and Portia and Cynthia, she's not talking to everybody, but they're just like, girl, you coming a little bit too rough, baby. You coming a little bit too rough. And she's just like, and honestly, I think it's her accent and the way that she like delivers stuff, because she delivers it with bravado and she just says whatever she says, and it's just like, it's going to come how it come. But she was just basically saying like they were very upset. And what I will say is like Pinky was saying it in a way that it was delivered from Shamia and Kelly. She was saying the exact same way, which I think might have been a problem if she had just been like, yeah, they were very upset. But she was like, yeah, they were very upset about the situation because the rooms were nasty. The rooms were dirty, so it's just like, it's a difference in the way that you can say that, in the way that you can like give that information. But Angela, she was just like, hold on, girl. Because Angela, she kind of like said, Pinky, you are kind of coming at us a little bit hard. But I don't remember when it happened, like before or after, but Angela, she did kind of like give that information back to Pinky and so hold on, let me rewind. So when Kelly and Shamia were at the pool when they first got there, Angela came over to the pool and she decided, I'm just going to see how they are. I'm going to check in on them. And Kelly was pissed off. She said, freaking fraud. She was just basically saying that Portia and Phaedra should have been over there, that they were very whack. She was not okay with them rooms. She was pissed the fuck off. She's not okay with it. And she said Angela's going to take her Bigfoot ass over there and she's going to run that information back to everybody. Now, did she say that? No. But she definitely alluded to them, or she definitely did say that, a version of that. And the camera people, or Bravo, the editing team, when I tell you, they had them big feet stomping noises because, Angela is like a size 12, size 13 in women's. So she got some big ass feet. But when I tell you, like, it was so hilarious. So anyways, Angela did exactly what Kelly said she would do, being a bone collector. But honestly, Angela does it in a way, in such like a calm, classy way that I just love, honestly. But she tells them, she's like, yeah, Angela and Shamia was saying, I mean, Kelly and Shamia were saying that y'all were whack because y'all should have got them rooms. And Portia's like, wait, so we were whack because we didn't get them rooms? That wasn't even our choice. Like, what are you talking about? And they was just getting pissed off. And Phaedra, in her confession, she would use up 10 more words. And she was like, you know what? We may be whack for being freaking fried, but y'all are Ren and Stimpy. I giggled a little bit. I'm not even going to hold you. It was a little bit funny. But anyway, so then Angela, she says, like, Pinky, you coming at us a little bit hard. Like, why do you have so much stress on your chest, baby girl? What's going on? When I tell you that whole back and forth was like Real Housewives down. Like, that was Real Housewives. Like, the back and forth. We ain't even finna fight each other. I don't want to fight you. You don't want to fight me. This is like a tongue tussle. Like, this is us getting at each other. Like, we finna do it. When I tell you everything Angela said, Pinky had like a rebuttal to. Everything Pinky said, Angela had a rebuttal to. Them bitches was like reading down. They was a nasty read session. Like, Pinky called her a bitch. She was like, why am I a bitch? Why you calling me a bitch? That's what Angela said. And then Angela, you know, she was saying, like, basically, girl, your businesses is going under. Like, your business, you in bankruptcy. You're not paying your employees. You know, Christmas bonuses is canceled because your broke ass can't pay. And Pinky was like, well, I should have bought your houses. And you had to foreclose on them houses with your broke ass. And Pinky was like, I got it. I got the money. And Angela, she was like, you can never look like this. And she was like, I don't want to look at you. I don't want you with your sweaty ass. When I tell you, I died. And then Pinky was like, girl, I'll pay for you to get some new veneers. And Pinky said, why don't you pay for you to get your own veneers through your co-mingling teeth? Like, everything that they had to say to each other, it was like a back and forth. Like, it was, oh my gosh. And then Pinky was like, I got a cash business. I pay for my business back. Cash. One thing I will say about Pinky that really pisses me off, if you got it, then baby, why don't you spend it? Like, seriously, if you have the money, then why are you not spending it and putting it towards, I don't know, your damn businesses? Like, you wouldn't be in a bankruptcy situation if you were just paying the stuff off, you know? I don't know, like, Pinky, you keep saying that, but I don't think you got it like that, baby. I don't think you got it like that. And that's okay. But they were reading each other. Pinky, she stood up, she said, kiss my fat ass. And of course, you know, Phaedra used a couple more of her word tokens. And she said, I mean, if you want me to kiss your ass, it's got to be something I can grab and kiss and hold. Demote Phaedra. But Pinky, she sits back down, and then you know, they keep going back and forth. And then Pinky, she gets up to leave again, and then Angela, she's just sitting there. She's like, oh, so you gonna get up? You don't want to finish this? And Pinky, she sits her ass right back down. And it was just hilarious because you could just see like the difference in how calm Angela was when she was going at Pinky, and how Pinky was so like agitated. She was up and but I don't even think that Pinky was like upset or anything. I just think that Pinky was like, oh, I'm finna give it to you. You want it, I'm finna give it to you. Because I honestly think that Pinky had a lot going on to the point where she was just like, anybody that wanted is gonna get it. You know, she was already pissed off about that room. She had to fake like she wasn't. So I think that might have been what was going on with Pinky. But by the end of that, they did calm it down. They were just like, girl, I don't want to argue with you. Girl, I don't want to argue with you either. You know, it just is what it is. So, something that she also said. So, Angela said, oh, you know, you and your husband got a wife in the basement. I don't know if it's true. But why do I believe it? Him and her, they got something going. Like, they definitely are sleeping together, whatever. But that man definitely got a wife in the basement. And I'm here to tell you, this is an exclusive. It's me. I'm the wife in the basement. I'm sleeping with her husband. That's our husband, okay? No, but I was like, Candy, where are you? But, you know, the basement comments, I know Phaedra, she felt a cold motherfucking wind on the back of her neck, okay? And it was Candy about to blow the bitch wig off. But, said basement comments. But, that was hilarious. But they did calm it down eventually. You know, Phaedra, she kind of is like, so they kind of talk about the whole Pinky and Pinky and Phaedra situation. And it was just kind of, I don't remember if it was before or after. I'm just kind of talking at this point. So they kind of talk about it. They kind of get it together where it's just like, look, you know, it just wasn't what it was. We see the review, and honestly, this is probably gonna be the last time I say this. We see the recap of like what they showed, but what happened was Shamia talked to Phaedra. Phaedra said, well, you know, she owned a Jamaican restaurant. Yeah, she was selling meat. She said in a very, very shady way. Phaedra tells Pinky in that moment, like at dinner in Dallas, that no, I'm cool with Shamia, but I would never talk to her like that on the phone. Exactly how you said that you weren't talking to her. Exactly how you were talking to her. You know, you were being shady. You were being, you know, catty and all that other kind of stuff. Phaedra just stand on it. You know, that would give you more airtime and more stuff to talk about. You know, they probably might have to come up on a little more extra words for you to say, but like, girl, I just need you to give something. You ain't giving nothing. And I don't expect nothing from Phaedra, but I'm just saying, why are you wasting our time just giving giving faces? Like, it's just really getting annoying. But exactly how Shamia said, you know, what she said, Shamia was reading between the lines. But I can't wait for Pinky to actually clock Kelly, because she kind of did. She said she was a big breasted something, a big titty bird or something like that. And Kelly is, if I may say so myself. I feel bad for what she's going through, but that bitch is a bird, and she looked like a bicycle in the face. But yeah, you know, that situation, like, I just can't wait for it to be like, Phaedra, you didn't say it, but you absolutely implied it. Just stop lying. You know, it is what it is. And then, so K. Michelle, Kelly, and I think Shamia also, but I definitely saw K. Michelle and Kelly. They went over to the dinner table to go and just get something to eat and just, you know, go back with the women. And in her confessional, Drew was basically like, damn, like, K. Michelle, she seemed a little bit cranky, like, because K. Michelle was like, hey, like, my face isn't done. I don't like to look crazy, so I'm just going to go ahead and go. And K. Michelle, she just kind of, like, went back in the house, and I'm just like, okay, like, okay. She just seemed like she just wasn't there for it. Like, she just kind of seemed a little bit annoyed. I don't really understand, like, what's going on with K. Michelle. I really, really, really do hope that she does get it together. But, I don't know. She just kind of, like, left. And I'm just like, girl. But, overall, I really liked the episode. Like, you know, Cynthia, she was amazing, amazing host. Phaedra, she was... she's like basically the narrator. Honestly, she is funny in her confessionals, but I just need more from her. Pinky, when I tell you Pinky is defensive, when I tell you I need 3 more seasons of Pinky, because Pinky got some stuff going on, and I just need more Pinky. I need 2 more people like Pinky and Angela that can just read each other down and give it to each other. Angela, I love me some Angela. But when I tell you that girl is messy, 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 she gonna get the drama started. She started everything last season. She started everything this season. Like, I love me some Angela. When I tell you she's the one person that works for her check every single time. You know, from the last cast, she's the only person that will work for her goddamn check. Kelly, you know, she is definitely... like spiraling emotionally, you know. I hate that for her, but I do want her demoted. Anyway, so Shamia, you know, I like Shamia. She can stay on the show, but anyways, so Drew is exhausting. Drew can leave, and then K. Michelle, she's detached but funny. You know, like, she does have some funny moments, but I don't know. So right now, the way that I'm feeling, because in the beginning I was like, everybody can stay. Phaedra can be demoted or she can leave, and Kelly can be demoted or she can leave. And then, well, no, Kelly can be just demoted. I don't think Kelly needs to leave. And then Drew, she can leave. She don't even need to be demoted. Right now, I'm saying that Drew can leave. She don't need to be demoted. Kelly can be demoted. Kate Michelle can leave. And Phaedra, she can be demoted or she can leave. Like, they are just taking up space. Kate Michelle ain't doing shit. Girl, we brought you in to do something. And honestly, we should have been forewarned in the beginning of the episode, beginning of the season, when she kind of walked away from the drama and pretend like she wasn't a part of it. Kate Michelle, I know you still got that gut of sniping you. I know you don't shake if you ain't gonna get shook, or whatever she said. Like, I know you still got it in you, girl. If you didn't want to do that, then you shouldn't have came to the show. You pissing me off, girl. But anyways, the show was good. I just need a little bit more from everybody. I know that this has already been filmed and everything, but I'm talking about next season or whatever. I like the show. I know people are gonna be saying it's not like it was before. It's not like it was before. But the show is giving what it needs to give. You know, this is in 2026, not 2008. You know, not 2016. So it is what it is. But this has been Petty Talks with Deja. Let me know how you felt about this episode in the comments, and have a good day.